Saturday, okay, and Sunday again. Monday was the youngest, and Sunday was the oldest. Now one day she told her children, "You have been so helpful," because they had been helpful. They'd been cleaning up and working in the yard and doing all the good things that they needed to do. She said, "I'm going to get you whatever you want at market." And so she said, "Each of you think about what you'd like. And I'm going to take my basket and I'm going to go get it and bring it back for you to market." And so they all thought real hard. And then it came time to ask. And she went to Monday and she said, "Monday, what would you like?" Monday said, "I'd like some butter." And so Mother said, "Butter it is," because you know they didn't have butter too often back then. And she says, "Tuesday, what would you like?" And he said, "I'd like a pocket knife." And she said, "A pocket knife it is, so you can whittle away on sticks." And then she went to Wednesday and said, "Wednesday, what would you like?" And she said, "I would like a china pitcher. A beautiful pitcher to pour things out of, made out of white china." And she said, "That's just fine. I'm going to get you that." Okay? And then she went to Thursday and said, "Thursday, what would you like?" And she said, "I'd like a pot of honey." And Mother said, "Well, that's sweet as you." And she said, "I'm going to get you that pot of honey." And then she went to Friday and she said, "Friday, what would you like?" And he said, "I'd like a tin of salt. A little tin box filled with salt." And she said, "That sounds really good." She said, "I'm going to get you that." And then she went to Saturday and she said, "Saturday, what would you like?" And she said, "I'd like some crackers." And she said, "I'll get you some wonderful crackers." And then she went to Sunday, the oldest. And she said, "Sunday, what would you like?" And Sunday said, "I'd like some egg pudding." And Mother said, "I'll bring you some egg pudding because we never have egg pudding." And she took that list of things and her basket and she went out the door, but before she went out the door, she said, "Don't you open this door for anyone. Hecate Peg is out and about." And the kids said, "Oh, Mother, we know not to open the door. And we know Hecate Peg. We're not going to open the door for her." And so the mother said, "Okay." She shut the door and she went off to market. Boom. Now, the kids started playing around. They started working a little bit, sweeping by the chimney and putting the chairs back under the table. And then they started to chase each other around and roll around and have a good time. But it was okay. They had done their work when all of a sudden they heard something outside. Creak, creak. It sounded like a squeaky wheel rolling up the path. Creak, creak, creak. It sure was a squeaky wheel. It was Hecate Peg pulling her cart. And she knocked on the door. Boom, boom, boom. And she said, "It's Hecate Peg. I've lost my leg. Won't you let me in?" And the little ones and the big, little and big children gathered at the door and they said, "No, no, no, no. We can't let you in." Mother said, "Not to open the door for you, Hecate Peg." And Hecate Peg outdoors said, "I'll give you something." And the kids said, "Oh, no, 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 no." And Hecate Peg said, "Look at what I'll give you." And so the kids opened the little window in the door, and they looked outside, and Hecate Peg opened a leather pouch, and there was gold. Gold in that leather pouch, and the kids had heard about gold. And they heard that gold was really valuable. And Hecate Peg says, "If you just light my pipe, I'll give you this gold." And the kids, they ran and grabbed a stick burning from the fireplace. And they came over and Sunday, the oldest, said, "It won't hurt if we just light her pipe." Okay? And so she stuck the stick out the window and lit Hecate Peg's pipe. And when she lit Hecate Peg's pipe, there was a big explosion and there were sparks everywhere. And the door blew open. Whoa! And Hecate Peg came running in and snatched up all of the kids one by one, put them in a bag in her cart. And then she took her cart down the path, over the bridge, and through the woods to her house. Oh. Well, not long after that, the mother came back from market with her basket full of things. And when she got near the house, she noticed the door had been blown open. And she knew immediately something was wrong. She ran into the house, set her basket down. She looked around, there wasn't a soul there. And all the furniture was knocked over and everything was knocked over. And she thought, oh no, my kids are gone. And then just then a bird flew and landed in the window. And the bird said, Hackety Peck, she lost her leg. She got your children. And the mother turned to her and she said, do you know where she went? And the bird said, yep, follow me. And the bird flew off down the path. And she flew, and the mother picked up her basket and flew after her, ran down the path, ran over the bridge, and ran into the woods, and followed the bird through the woods until she came to Hecate Peg's house. And there her house stood in the middle of the woods, and it looked like a huge melted candle. And the mother walked right up to the door. And she knocked on the door, boom, boom, boom. And she said, Hecate Peg, let me in. I know you stole my children. And a little window opened in the door. And there was Hecate Peg's face, long nose. And Hecate Peg said, oh, you can't come in. You can't have your children. Your shoes are dirty. And the mother said, I'll take them off. So she flicked her shoes off. And like that. And then she stood there in her bare feet. And then she said, now let me in. And the Hecate Peg looked out there and she said, oh, you can't come in. Your feet are dirty. And the mother said, I'll cut them off. And so she stepped off to the side, took a big knife, the pocket knife that she brought, and she went, oh, oh, and pretended like she cut her feet off, dropped to her knees, and then slid back over in front of the door. And there she was, looking like she had no feet. And Hecate Peg looked out the window and said, oh, brave soul are you? She said, oh, come in. And she opened the door, and the moment she opened the door, her mother ran in. And she said, Hecate Peg, you took my children. Now I'm here to get them. I'm going to take them with me. And Hecate Peg said, oh, no, you're not. Look, they're over there. And she pointed to a large table. And the table had nothing but food on it, for Hecate Peg had turned all her children into food. And Hecate Peg said, your children are now all food. And she says, I'm going to keep them unless you can guess which child is which food. And if you can't guess, I'm going to eat them. And the mother thought, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? She thought, how am I going to figure out which child is which food? And then all of a sudden she thought about the basket she had with her. And she thought, yes, yes. She looked in the basket and there was butter. And she looked on the table and there was bread. And she said, bread needs butter. That's Monday. And then she looked at her basket and she saw a pocket knife. And she turned and she looked and she saw a pie on the table. And she said, a pie needs a knife. Tuesday is the pie. And then she looked and she saw a great big bowl of porridge on the table. And she saw in her basket honey. And she thought, honey, porridge or oatmeal needs honey. And she said, that's Wednesday. Porridge is Wednesday. And then she looked at the table and saw a big fish. A big fish on the table. And she looked at her basket and saw a tin of salt. She said, fish needs salt. She said, what? Friday is the fish. And then she saw on the table a great big round cheese. And she looked in her basket and sure enough, there were crackers. And she said, cheese needs crackers. Cheese is Saturday. And then she saw a huge, big roast beef rib on this table, and she thought, egg pudding needs, roast rib needs egg pudding. She said, egg pudding, roast rib is Sunday. And the moment she said that, there was a huge explosion of sparks. And all the children came back. She had guessed them right. And the moment they came back, they all started to chase Hecate Peg. They chased her around the cabin, and the mother in the lead. And they chased and chased and chased. They chased her out the door and through the woods and up onto the bridge, and Hecate Peg fell off the bridge. And she fell in the water, and she started to melt and float down the stream. Ow, she said. And they never saw her again. That's what I say. And that's the story of Hecate Peg. Yeah. All right. Okay, now you remember I asked you, who are some of the unexpected heroes in that story? Now think before you raise your hand. Is there anybody that's an unexpected hero in that story? The mother. She was heroic. Are there any others in the grave? The kids, were they heroic? Mm-hmm. Did they do something heroic? What did you think, honey? Did you think that? The what? The bird. That's pretty nice. Okay. All right, now I'd like you to stand up for a second. Everybody stand up in place. And I want you to reach up and touch the ceiling, but watch out for the fan. Don't hit the fan. Okay? And I want you to dust the ceiling off for me. Now, I want you to reach down and dust your shoes off. And then I want you to dust your bottom off. And then you can sit down. Okay? Got you another little song to do here. All right? All right, now, I want you to put your hands up like this. Two little birds. Okay? And do what I do and say what I say. Ready? Two little black birds sitting on a hill. One named Jack. And you fly Jack up. And one named Jill. Now, fly away, Jack. Fly away, Jill. Fly back, Jack. Fly back, Jill. Land them down again. Two little black birds sitting on a hill. One named Happy and one named Sad. Fly away, Happy. Can you laugh? Fly away, Sad. And, oh, fly away, Happy. Fly away, Sad. Fly back, Happy. Fly, yeah, that's it. Fly back, Sad. Okay, land those down again. Ready? Two little black birds sitting on a hill. One named Fast and one named Slow. Fly away, Fast. Fly away, Slow. Come on, Slow. Fly a little faster. Oh, there. Fly back, Fast. Fly back, Slow. Slow. Okay. Land them on the hill again, okay? Two little black birds sitting on a hill. One named Loud. One named Soft. Fly away, Loud. Fly away, Soft. Fly back, Loud. Fly back, Soft. Land them down. Two little black birds sitting on a hill. One named Early. And one named Late. One named Late. Come on, Late. Oh, there. Fly away, Early. Wait. Fly away, Late. Fly away, Lake. Come on. Come on, Lake. Fly away. Fly back, Early. Whoa. Fly back, Lake. Fly back, Lake. Lake. Fly back. Oh, here I come, big old boy. Two little blackbirds sitting on a hill. One named one named Lost. And one named Found. Hi! Fly away, Lost. I guess he's lost. Fly away, Found. Fly back, Lost. I guess he's lost. Fly back, Found. Here I am. Put your hands together. Okay, speaking of rice. All right, I have a story now for you. Another story called Burning Rice Fields. And this is how it goes. Ready? Once there was a little village about the size of Saranac, and it sat right on the shore of a big ocean. And it was right at the shore of that ocean, and there wasn't much room on that shore, and then there was a great big mountain that went up the side. So the village was sort of trapped on the edge. But it was okay, because they went fishing every day, and they caught fish, and they had plenty to eat, and they all took care of each other really well. And at the top of the mountain, way up at the top, there was an old man and a young girl that were learning to take care of the rice crop for the village. And so they grew the rice crop on the top of the mountain. And then the people in the village would eat that rice the whole year long, along with their fish and their other things. Well, one day, the old man was showing the young girl how to take care of the rice crop, when all of a sudden, he looked out over the ocean, and he had a horrified look on his face. He was frightened. He was very afraid. Now, she had her back to the ocean. She didn't see what it was. She was about to turn around and see what he'd seen in the ocean, when all of a sudden he said, "Quick, get me a burning stick from the fireplace." And he looked so angry and so frightened that she ran right into the house, got a burning stick, and ran right out with it. She gave him the burning stick, and she couldn't believe her eyes. He started to light the rice crop on fire. He was burning their rice crop row by row. And she said, "What are you doing? You're burning the food for the village." "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" She was tugging on him, and he kept pushing her away. And he kept lighting row after row of rice. Why was he burning the rice? And then thick black smoke started to roll up from the top of the mountain, from the burning rice fields. And the people down below in the village on the shore, they saw the black smoke, and they knew that something terrible had happened, and that there was a fire, and they need to go up and help put the fire out. And so they grabbed blankets and shovels and pitchforks and whatever they could grab. Every man, woman, and child in that village ran up the mountain. And they got to the top of the mountain with everything they had to fight the fire. And they got there just in time to see the old man light the last row of rice on fire. They couldn't believe their eyes. He was burning their food. And so they all ran up to him, they charged up to him, and they said, "What are you doing? You're burning our food. What are you doing?" And they were very angry, and they were going to hit the man. When all of a sudden he said, "Wait, stop, look." And they all turned around and faced out toward the ocean just in time to see a huge tidal wave come in from the ocean and wash their village right off the shore. He had saved their lives. They turned back around, realizing that the old man, what he had done. And they gave him thanks and praise from that day on for saving their lives. And that's the story of the burning rice field. Yeah, think about that one. Now, as I've been asking you, think about that story. Are there any unexpected heroes in that story? Yes? The old man, why is that? He saved them from a tidal wave. Are there any other unexpected heroes?
Me.
The smoke. Unexpected hero because thought it was something terrible, but it saved their lives. Interesting. Anybody else?
Me.
Nice job. Yeah. The fire created the smoke. Yes. The little girl. She ran to help the old man. Good job. Okay, now stand up, everybody, including the grown-ups. It's time for the hardest song in the whole world. Okay? Now this song has equipment. Ready? There's a pair of scissors. Can you make your scissors like this? Come on, show me your scissors. There's a rocking chair. Can you make your rocking chair like this? Okay. There's a wooden shoe. Can you stomp your wooden shoe? Now, there are some itchy fleas. Can you itch your flea? There's a ping pong game. Can you watch the ping pong game back and forth? All right. Now, you're going to need all those things for this song. And the trick of this song is, which nobody can do, is you're going to need to do all the actions together. Right? Repeat after me, right? My aunt came back from old Algiers, and she brought with her a pair of shears. Now you make your scissors, okay? Now, this usually isn't a problem, because everybody can do one thing, all right? My aunt came back from the World's Fair, and she brought with her a rocking chair. Now that's where you do the scissors and the rocking chair. I see some girls back there that can handle this just fine. And usually we don't lose people with two things like that. Okay? My aunt came back from old Burmese, and she brought with her some itchy fleas. Now that's where we lose people, because you can't do three things, okay? You gotta itch your fleas, you gotta do the scissors, and you gotta rock the chair. Well, I guess we haven't lost anybody yet. Even the grown-ups can do this. All right, yeah. All right, well, we'll see what happens. My aunt came back from Holland too, and she brought with her a wooden shoe. Now you gotta stomp your wooden shoe. You gotta do your scissors. You gotta do the rocking chair. You gotta itch your fleas. This is where we lose people. Okay. Yeah, we're losing. Wait a minute, we haven't lost anybody yet? Oh, well, one. You mean you got people that can do all four of these things at once? All right. My aunt came back from old Hong Kong, and she brought with her the game ping pong. Now, nobody can do five things. Wait a minute, those girls are still doing five things back there. They're doing five things in a row. We've lost several of the adults. They get it up. They can't do this. But we've got kids that can do this. My aunt came back from Kalamazoo, and she brought with her some nuts like you.